Is it Fernanda Solis Martinez?
Yes, sir.
Ma'am, you're charged with criminal mischief. You're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present if you cannot afford one. One will be appointed to you, ma'am.
Yes, Judge. On November 19th, 2024, the officer was dispatched to a residence in Harris County, Texas, in response to a family disturbance. Upon arrival, the officer met with the complainant, who stated that he and the defendant, his sister, got into a verbal argument that turned physical. Both parties admitted to striking one another, and the defendant walked over to the complainant's computer and began hitting the computer monitor with a PS5 controller, causing damage. The officer observed the monitor to be shattered, and there was also damage to the headset and controller. The complainant estimates the cost of damage to be $1,120.
Okay, Ms. Solis, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with the case. How old are you, ma'am?
I'm 22.
Are you here with anyone today?
I'm
Are
sorry.
you here with anyone today? What do you do for a living?
Nurse student in Memorial Herman.
Do you have any kind of income whatsoever?
I would say I make about 1,000 a year, 1,000 a week.
All right, would you like to apply for a court-appointed lawyer, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm gonna have you fill out an application with Stephen. We need to work and we need to figure out what we're gonna do, because typically in these types of cases, I bar you from having contact with the complaining witness in this case, meaning that you're not allowed to have contact with your brother.
Yeah.
I don't know, I don't know where you live. I don't know if you live with him. So what I'm gonna, don't say anything now. I have a bunch of DAs here. What you say could hurt you. I'll appoint you a lawyer today, but we need to find out the family dynamic, because if you pick up a new case, you start acting a fool in the free world, I'm gonna take the free world away from you and I'm gonna put you in jail and I'm gonna make your bond high. And you have to understand that if you don't have anyone that's gonna post your bond, you will sit there in jail until this case is over with. And I'm gonna tell you, it takes about 9 months just to get a 911 tape, and all that you're working for, all that schooling to become a nurse, where does it go? Right. So we'll figure out that here momentarily. So do not leave until we let you go, though. Okay. Stephen's going to give you the application. I'll have you sign a reset with Victoria, and then we'll have you take a seat in the jury box, man. Please.
Yes.
So I am putting some conditions on your bond now, Ms. Solis, okay? The two conditions I'm placing on your bond now is that you're not to have, or not to be in possession of any weapons. And I'm also ordering you not to have any threatening, harassing, or abusive contact with a Mr. Martinez, your brother.
Brother, yes.
I want you to understand what is threatening or harassing. Doesn't matter what you think is threatening or harassing. I could give a rat's behind what you think is threatening or harassing. It's what he perceives. So if you get into an argument with him and you go, look, is that threatening, harassing? It is. And it can land you back in jail. If you pick up a new case, you violate conditions. No matter how old you are, I don't care. I'm going to put you in jail and I'm going to protect every person in my county. I don't care that it's your brother, it's your mother, father, whoever it may be. Do you understand? Ray, did you want to say anything?
No, Judge, we talked about the no threatening or harassing, and I've explained to her that the state is offering restitution. I just need to get the PTI contract and the restitution receipt so we can get all that paid.
You know, the other thing that you have to understand is that at some point you're going to start working, right? When you start building up a criminal record, employers look at this and they see that it's a potential liability, because they may now think, wow, she now has this mischief. Even if it gets dismissed, people can still see it. Man, is she a danger? Is she going to explode on us if she loses her temper? That's what people think. You need to consider this. The older you get, your actions have consequences, and it can really impact your future. If you want to become a nurse, this may, form a barrier for you. Consider this when you're out there in the free world. you have any questions?
I do. For the no weapons, is that like forever? Like for all my life, I can't have any weapons?
While this case is open.
While this case is open?
While this case is open, you're not to have any weapons whatsoever.
Okay.
We've given you a lawyer. It is your responsibility to stay in touch with Mr. Vasquez. You can see him on the TV there. If he tells me he can't get a hold of you because you're playing games, you're not responding to phone calls, text messages, I will issue a warrant for arrest. Stay in contact, do what you're supposed to do, and then things will turn out well.
Yes, Your
All
Honor.
right? We'll have you sign this here now. We'll get you to sign a reset, and then after that, you're on your way. All right? Yes,
Happy
ma'am.
Thanksgiving.
You too. You are. I'm ready when you are. She's here. Okay. All right, good morning, Ms. Holly. Ma'am, you're charged with driving while intoxicated. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. You guys have worked out an agreement where they're offering you, you say 3-2? 3 days in jail with credit for the 2 days that you've done. You need to understand, ma'am, that this charge is going to go on your record. It's going to be there for the rest of your life. It's even there after you die. And it's important because like I told the other gentleman, you get pulled over, all officers care about is your record and how you look. And even if you smell funky, alcohol, dope, and even the slightest exhibition of something, they're going to take you down. And what we're doing today, the proverbial slap on the wrist, from now on, you're facing a minimum of 30 days in jail. Do you understand? So if I were you, even if you've had a sip of alcohol, you go on a date or whatnot, I wouldn't even get into a car. $20. $30, Uber, wherever you want to go, don't matter. You understand? You're giving up the right to a trial, right to compel witnesses to testify on your behalf, confront and cross-examine your accusers. If you're not a citizen, there are possible immigration consequences. You can be deported, excluded from the country, denied naturalization. You give up the right to appeal. Once you plead guilty and you accept this, there's no turning around. You cannot undo this. Do you understand? You sure you want to do this? How do you plead to the offense, ma'am? Guilty or not guilty? I will find you guilty, sentence you to the agreement. In this case, Mr. Horn, was this a intervention gone wrong?
Yes, that's correct, Judge. That's a law violation out of county. So she's.
Was it it was a theft out of county, right? Okay. All right, ma'am, I will find you guilty. I'm going to suspend your license to drive 180 days. Do not drive until you get a license. My other thing is that what do you do for a living now?
A behavioral therapist,
And how much money do you make a month?
roughly 2,000.
Who do you live with?
I'm living with someone right now because finances were rough.
Children?
No, sir.
Okay. The reason I'm asking you these questions is one of the things that you have to do when you plead guilty to a DWI, there are surcharges that you have to pay. $3,000 to DPS when you plead guilty to this office, not to mention the court costs, which are usually around $400, $450. Your lawyer's asking me to waive it for you, but why would I waive all those fines and fees when why would I reward you for the behavior that you have exhibited in the past year? Tell me. You're getting kicked out. You pick up a new theft case, which is completely within your control. I don't understand. Why would we reward you?
I mean, up until the case 2 weeks ago, I hadn't,
I don't want you to talk about the theft case. Don't.
no, I wasn't. I was speaking on this case. I haven't violated, blown dirty, had any issues, did all the classes, everything I needed to do.
She was participating in classes, paying her fees. They just kicked her out for the law violation.
But I've done everything I needed to do.
It's a shame. And I'm going to tell you, one day you're going to look back on this and you're going to say, God damn, I was so stupid for picking up that, I will. Because you were doing well, I will waive the fee for you. But I want you to understand, you ever pick up another DWI, it's double. So it's a $6,000 surcharge that you will potentially be required to pay, you pick up another DWI, not to mention the court costs. You will probably be rolling out here with around $7,000 in fines and fees. You pick up another DWI. If you're not smart enough to consider how to get home on a night of drinking, then it's really not going to go well for you. All we ask you to do is take an Uber. It's not hard. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
All right, man. I will find you guilty, send you to it. I'll waive the fee.
Thank you.
It's not going to happen. Good luck. All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you, Mr. Horn.
Matter of the portable device that was a part of her PTI. I forget.
We will take everything off now. Right. We'll get an order from either Toria. Is it from you or?
The probation officer does it, but I'll print it out right now.
Yeah, we'll get it taken care of today.
Thank you very much.
All right, guys.
Thank you.
All right. Take care, man. Hi, Anna.
It's painful, Judge, you know what I'm saying? It's painful.
Hello, Judge.
on
Hi.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How about you?
Good, sir. Thank you.
What we had discussed, Judge, just so, and there's a full disclosure analysis we're talking, Marissa had agreed to have a plea to the DUI probation with the terms, including the treatment that's been recommended by the DUIs and all this type of stuff, which we had agreed that would be one of the ways to resolve it. And that would still have them dismiss the PCS. But once we talked about the idea of setting her up for failure, if you would, I wasn't comfortable that she would be able, or this court might even be able to accommodate issues that would arise because she couldn't either get to her meeting or
You
get
can
to
always
the
accommodate.
testing.
Always. There's never a way that we can't. Never doesn't work in our vocabulary. And the thing that I want you to understand is that I don't, you now, once you plead, if you plead to this, it's going to go on your record. It is now a second offense. And the last thing we want is for you to graduate to felony status to where you're looking at 2 to 10 in the penitentiary. Right?
Yes, sir.
And I need, and I want to make sure that you understand that there are consequences to behavior. You need to understand that if you ever get in a car, you smell like alcohol, you smell like dope, they're not going to care whether you're spilling, fall down ass drunk, where you've urinated yourself, whether you're vomit. It doesn't take that for them to file a felony charge on you. Even the faintest smell of alcohol, the faintest droopy eyelids, the faintest sway in the wrong way, they're going to charge you with a felony DWI. And now you're looking at up to 10 years in prison. I, at all costs, want to make sure that that doesn't happen. And in my experience, what I've seen when people have too easy, right? It never works out well. And I don't think that a time served on a DWI second is appropriate. I understand that you may take care of other people. I understand that you may have life issues. Actions have consequences.
Absolutely.
You not only have this DWI second, but you also have a felony possession of a controlled substance. He's worked a tremendous deal where they're going to dismiss the felony case. I'm going to tell you now, anytime you can avoid a felony, you're winning. Anytime, it doesn't matter. Because once you get that felony conviction, I cannot tell you how many doors that closes. And not only just from potential work, but I'm talking issues with the state, being able to get state resources, funding for things like food stamps, perhaps lose the right to vote. Just, it really closes a lot of doors. And I want to make sure that that doesn't happen, So
Judge.
we usually, now this is a second, you by law must do 5 days in jail as a condition to probation, right? I don't know if you guys have worked out an agreement where they're going to waive that and plead it down to a first, thereby waiving the jail time, but there's mandatory 5 days in jail as a result of this. That's what you need to understand, which is the other consequence of this. Now, if they're willing to do that, I'm certainly okay with that, but time served. And the probation, if you do well in the beginning and you show us that we can trust you, we will allow you to do virtual reporting through Zoom. But we have to know that you're going to do well. There are not going to be any issues. And most importantly, you're not going to use,
Absolutely, sir.
because that's what matters.
Yes, sir.
All we're trying to do here is make sure that you don't take a life on the road, so that you have enough of a crappy experience here that 15 years down the road, when you're placed in a position where you're intoxicated out there, man, should I get this car? I had such a miserable time in court with that Judge Fleischer. God, I never want that experience again. That's the idea.
Yes,
Because I
sir.
want you to remember me 20 years from now when you're in a position of vulnerability where you make the right decision.
Absolutely. Yes,
And
sir.
hopefully with the probation, we get you understand.
Absolutely, sir. I agree. It's fine.
Now, you have a probation officer, right? Your probation officer is always willing to work with you. If they call you in for a drug test and you're in some kind of situation where you can't, you let them know. We will give you the line to Shatoria here. She's absolutely an angel, is always willing to help you out. We can give you a direct access to her. If you have a problem, call us, call me, call her, and we will work something out.
Sir.
But there's never a way that we can't work something out. There's always a way. There's always a way. Always.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay?
Yes, sir.
Give me a minute or two to
There's
talk
no
to
rush.
Mike, Judge. and-
No rush. And I mean, your case, Mr. Knowles, it's only what, like 140 days? Right?
We won't have it on today, Judge.
Or you don't have to.
But I think we're at that point. So I think just a little conversation, I think we should be able to get.
Okay. For sure.
And I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate you.
Ms. Gonzalez, I want you to understand one thing, that it's not you, it's not your lawyer. He's done a great job and has zealously advocated on your behalf. But on a second DWI, we have proverbial slaps on the wrist for DWI first, right? I get it. People make mistakes. It happens. We all make mistakes in life, right? But you can't continue to make the same mistake and expect the same result and reward, right? Because the proverbial slap on the wrist, the so-called time served, right, is exactly what it is. Because you're supposed to do jail time on a DWI, right? And when you're walking out of here, and there's no jail time, it's kind of like a reward, right?
Absolutely.
But you can't continue to pick up DWIs and expect rewards. We don't work like that. We don't operate like that. And we want you to learn. And believe it or not, I really care for you. And I want to see you succeed. I want to see you do well. But no more proverbial slaps on the wrist. There now is a lot of baggage that you're going to have on your back following today and for the rest of your life. After today, you're going to have these 2 DWIs on your record. Like I've been harping on you over and over, you get into a car, the slightest smell of whatever it is, they're probably going to take you down and charge you with a felony. And if you thought this was expensive, if you thought this was bad, wait till you get upstairs. There are judges up there that just watch out. Now, you guys have worked out an agreement. They're offering you 180 days in jail to be probated for 16 months. As part of the conditions, you will do thinking for a change. You will do a repeat offender DWI education class. You will do 2 victim impact panels. You will also do a TRAS, which is an evaluation to see what other conditions you may need.
Just completed.
Any recommended thinking for a change.
Okay, well, okay. I'm surprised to know, no outpatient, no, not necessarily residential, but no outpatient treatment at a minimum. Typically in these cases, when we see these, they usually order, intensive outpatient treatment or supportive outpatient treatment, which is kind of like like AA-ish type issue. So regardless, if that's what they think, then that's what they think. I'm going to follow it. So that's what you must do. No breath test refusal. So if you're pulled over in a car and an officer asks you to submit a breath test, you must do it. If you don't, you're in violation of the probation. 30 hours of community service and a guardian interlock. Do you have children, Ms. Gonzalez?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I think that you probably be better served to do instead of the dumbass community service, to do like a parenting class, because I think that has more value than just working on the street. Now, like I said, all we want you to do is learn from this, take these classes, take it to heart so that you don't ever come back.
Yes, sir.
If you do well, after some time, I will allow you to report via Zoom, okay?
Yes,
You
sir.
got to also understand that when you're doing these probation officers have your life in their hands, right? If you are nice to them, crack a joke with them. If you're their first appointment in the morning, you're probably going to get someone on their good side. If you go in there at 4 p.m, you've got a bunch of excuses, right? They're probably not going to be happy. They're going to be irritated. They're going to want to go home. Don't expect any good thing. In life, that's how it goes. If you're nice, you get more with honey than you do with vinegar.
Yes, sir.
Same thing with a probation officer.
Gotcha.
You're giving up the right to a trial, right to compel witnesses to testify on your behalf, confront and cross-examine your accusers. If you're not a citizen, there are possible immigration consequences. You can be deported, excluded from the country, denied naturalization under federal law. You give up the right to appeal. So once you plead guilty, you can never change this or undo this.
Yes,
If
sir.
you violate this probation, I'm going to issue a warrant for your arrest. We're going to put you in jail, bring you back out. Talk about if you violate your probation. If you do, you're looking at 180 days in jail.
Yes, sir.
You understand?
Absolutely.
How do you plead to the offense, man? I will find you guilty. I will follow the agreement. Is there an accident in this case, Michael?
No, Judge.
Okay. I have to suspend your license. I'm going to suspend it for a year. Do you have a license now?
No, sir.
Okay. I think that that's probably what we should also do, is try to get her license, Have you ever had a license?
I did have a license. It got suspended with the first DWI. And back then they had a bunch of extra fees. It was the
Surcharges.
yeah, so I wasn't able to get it back because it was so high. Then they canceled all that out. I had just finished paying off everything to reinstate my license 2 weeks maybe prior to this happening here.
Michael, do you mind running her license?
Yes, Judge.
Did you handle the ALR hearing by chance?
I did not. There was
Okay,
nothing to handle.
On a subsequent, it's usually a 2-year license suspension when it comes with regards to the ALR. So it may very well that you may have a 2-year license suspension.
I do see that she's not eligible, Judge.
ALR,
Yes.
2-year. I mean, it
says-
depends what happened with the first ALR too.
Well, it actually says that she was suspended because due to no insurance. It says surcharge due, no insurance.
You know when that was, sir?
Did you get a ticket for no insurance?
No, sir. I haven't gotten pulled over. This was the first time in many years.
Let's make sure.
I just know that it began September 15th of 2024, the suspension. And the end date, I think this is like in perpetuity until she gets something fixed.
Here, Lonnie, do you mind giving me that piece of paper? This is the driver's license division. The number, will you make sure it's 2600? I don't know if she can read that. I kind of wrote it
It's
funky.
2,600.
It's 2600. That's the number to the driver's license division for DPS. Call them and then they can tell you what you need to do to get your license. But you need to get your license.
Okay, yes, sir.
Just, you gotta get it.
I'm allowed to go get it if I can.
Yeah, of course. But
Thank you, sir.
before you just go do anything, call them first. And when you call them at 7 a.m. Don't call at 8, don't call at 9, don't call at 1, because you'll never get through. As soon as the phone line's open at 7, that's when you call.
Yes, sir.
All right. Any questions?
No, sir.
Judge, there was a couple of things they were asking for the guardian interlocks. She does not drive or anything like that. And she has the monitor on now that's uncomfortable. Can we give her the portable device for now?
So, no. I want to switch it from the Scram to the portable. So, but first get the portable, then we'll take off the Scram. So we want to make sure that you're not using, and the best way, first get that one. As soon as you do that, we'll take the other one off. But we want to make sure that you have that one on first. So yeah, one of the conditions on this probation is that you maintain a guardian interlock. Now, because you're not driving, understand that you're going to be signing an affidavit today, promising me you're not going to drive.
Yes, sir.
Do not drive. I don't care what your excuse is. I don't care what's good. If there's a burning building, it doesn't matter. Just don't drive.
Yes, Your
Okay.
Honor.
The other thing, Judge, and this is just our way of refreshing the court's recollection, and there's been no alcohol that was found either in the results from the lab, and there's never been any alcohol associated with this particular DWI. This was one that was based upon
Sure.
some drugs, and not even a synergistic type of a matter, it's simply it was drugs. So just so the court will be aware, there was zero alcohol system as a result of this.
Okay. Remember, DWI is not just alcohol. If you take too much NyQuil, what happens?
Yes,
Right.
sir.
Anything where it affects the normal use of your mental and or physical faculties. Right.
Your Honor.
Oh, I think that's it.
That's it. And just so you and I know how serious you take these matters, and I don't want to belabor it, but the idea is that we had already put in place, do you have Brittany's card with you?
It's in my folder.
Okay. So we had already dealt with the writ court people. There's a program director, Brittany, I can't remember her name now.
Would
But
you
we
like
have
for me to grab
a-
it?
no, that's okay. We have a card and thing. So treatment was gonna already be a part of
Great.
this agreement, independent of a formal writing, but I think this is the best thing to do in this circumstance. Is to,
When's the last time she's been tested? Have you done a test late?
I can check it.
Yeah, we need to get to. Now, Mr. Knowles, we have one more thing. The surcharge.
oh yeah, I'm gonna ask that be waived. There's no way that she can afford those things at all. If I need to prove it up, you need to prove up on it or.
What do you do for a living?
Take care of my father at home.
Do you get paid by the state for doing that?
No, sir. Because I live with him. I don't know what that's what they told me.
How do you get money? How do you survive?
I mean, he gives me whatever I can and he gets money from Social Security retirement.
What does he get?
2,600 a month, something like that.
So you guys share that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, Mr. Knowles, I'll waive the DPS surcharge.
Judge, the last
Thank you,
test was
sir.
on September 19th.
Negative?
I believe what it tested positive for was a prescription that she currently possesses.
Okay, all right. Yeah, just stay clean. That's all we're asking. Okay? All right,
Waiving supervision, please, sir?
sure. Yeah, it's not about the money. It's never about the money.
I know, sir.
Just doing what you say you're gonna do
Absolutely.
in the time that you're supposed to do it. All right, guys,
Your Honor.
good luck.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Judge. I appreciate it. My